Live at 7 p.m.
Thanks for staying on with us and joining in now this evening with very, very exclusive details that Times Now has access. Some details of that sealed envelope that contains the Mudgal Committee report. We have been able to access some very, very key details which point to a virtual clean sheet to the ICC chairman, current ICC chairman, and the BCCI president who stepped aside, N. Srinivasan. He was right in the eye of all the storm when the IPL fixing scandal hit the nation, and it also brought a lot of disgrace, set the entire cricketing system into a conundrum, into a quandary. And right now we are getting access to these exclusive details that whether or not he gets away, we'll go across to Megha Prasad, who joins us with the details that we have accessed. Megha, is it a virtual clean sheet to N. Srinivasan?
Well, Anand, the details that we have been able to access, details which are part of the report that has been submitted to the Supreme Court in a sealed cover yesterday, do point towards almost, a virtual clean sheet to Mr. N. Srinivasan. In fact, the details that we have with us at this point in time deal with certain allegations against him, and the allegations are quite clear. Number one, that he tried to scuttle the probe of the CBCID that was being held in Chennai. Also, that he, despite he being informed about the involvement of certain players, and we are talking about players like MS Dhoni and Suresh Raina, that they were probably involved in some way or the other, both in match fixing and in betting, that Mr. N. Srinivasan sat on that piece of information and did nothing about it. Also, one of the allegations says that a South African person by the name of De Beers had in fact informed Mr. Srinivasan that Gurunath Mapan, his son-in-law, was indulging in these wrong activities of betting and match fixing, and that yet, even despite knowing that, he did not do anything about it. So these were the allegations that the Mudgal Committee report has dealt with in terms of Mr. Srinivasan, and in all of these allegations, I can tell you, Anand, the details that we have access says, probably squarely puts all the blame on the team of the CBCID that was investigating this matter, not saying anything about whether Mr. Srinivasan is responsible or not responsible, says that the evidence that they have collected till now suggests that in no way he tried subverting any wrongdoing by any of these players, that he was rather not in the know of any of these information. He had no idea whether Mayapan was indulging in any sort of match fixing or in betting.
Megha, just hold on, because these are details that we have accessed which point to a virtual clean sheet to the BCCI President N. Srinivasan. We also say good evening to Mr. Kishore Rungta, former BCCI Treasurer. Mr. Rungta, thanks for joining us. We're just putting out the details. Megha Prasad, our Bureau Chief Mumbai, is actually joining us with the details of what we have accessed in terms of the contents of that Mudgal Committee report. There were multiple allegations. Harini Rana, also our Chief Cricket Correspondent, joins us from Bangalore. But Megha, there were multiple allegations against the BCCI president, isn't it? And he was really facing flack from multiple corners. Even when the Mudgal Committee, they actually asked for an extension and they were granted a 2-month extension, there was talk that it is also going to be it's going to further create roadblocks for N. Srinivasan. It's going to hamper the entire election process and the AGM that was supposed to be called towards the end of September. But now, can we say that it's pointing towards a virtual clean sheet? What are the observations per se for all the allegations that you've made out? And we are putting out some details of the allegations too for our viewers on our screens.
Well, Anand, just to simplify all of this, let me tell you two things. One, of course, when we are talking about Mr. N. Srinivasan, yes, you're right. Of course, this particular scandal, the IPL scandal, has been quite a roadblock as far as his career is concerned. But then he did end up becoming the ICC president. As far as his BCCI post is concerned, of course, remember yesterday in the court, his counsel did argue that he should be allowed to go ahead with his business in the BCCI office. Of course, that wasn't allowed. But, going by the details details that we have accessed, that is a part of the report that has been submitted to the Supreme Court. Like I just told you about the allegations against Mr. Srinivasan are these, that he tried to scuttle the investigation of the CBCID Chennai in the match-fixing, spot-fixing allegations. Also allegations that have been raised that he also instructed MS Dhoni and other players of the CSK to fix matches. Allegations that have been raised that he was informed by the ICC, ACSU about Gurunath Mayappan's match-fixing and betting but did not take any action. Allegations that have also been raised that he was informed of Suresh Raina's involvement with the bookies and his courts, that is honey traps they are mentioning here, but did not take any action as he too was a CSK player. Now, the conclusion, just trying to simplify it, keep it very simple, Anand, says that at this juncture, there is nothing on record to indicate that Srinivasan is involved in scuttling of investigation or to indicate that Gurunath Mayappan was involved in the scuttling of the investigations. However, it has come to on record that Gurunath was friendly with Vikram Agarwal, but it leaves at just at that.
Well, Megha, do stay on with us. Harini, stay on. We say good evening to Mr. Kishore Bhimani too, joining us from Kolkata this evening. But first to Mr. Kishore Rungta. Mr. Rungta, these are only some parts of the allegations and in terms of the details that we have accessed. There is a lot more that we have received access to. But in terms of Mr. N. Srinivasan, the BCCI president, the current ICC chairman, it looks like a virtual clean sheet that is being given to him. Your reactions to this?
Personally, I feel that there was never an allegation against Srinivasan right from the beginning, particularly in regard to match betting. The allegations were against his son-in-law. The question then arises is whether or not the master is responsible for the act of the servant, which is a basic principle of law in my opinion. If somebody who is under your team doing these things, I think you stand equally responsible for it. The Mudgal Commission seems to have played it by the straight bat, indicating that since he was himself not involved and since there is no evidence of his involvement, he should be let off. I have gone on record even in the past to say that the conflict of interest issue itself has not been resolved, though all administrators were made to sign the agreement at one point of time. Now for him to own a team and then to run it and then allegations coming in, I am a bit surprised that he has been let off, if at all he has been, in the manner which I hear from your channel today.
Mr. Rungta, again staying with you, it's not just about his involvement in terms of direct involvement in betting, but the allegation also was, did he try to scuttle the investigation or hamper it? There were a lot of questions around the first probe panel that was set up, isn't it? Do you believe that given the details that we have accessed and we are putting out, there are a few loose ends, there are a few questions that still remain unanswered, a few grey areas?
There are a lot of grey areas, in my opinion, which still remain unanswered, and it should reach its end and its conclusion, because by and large, there are a lot of expectations for cleaning the system by the Mudgal Commission, and the entire country is looking forward to what exactly is happening in this particular account. I only hope and wish that the truth comes out, whether it is this way or that way, but if the truth is there, I think there will be a lot of cleaning as far as cricket is concerned, because there are deep implications to what is going to be said now. Whether the future betting, match fixing and others will stop or not, to a very large extent will depend on this, in my opinion.
Now, what is the biggest, grey area according to you, or the biggest question or allegation that you would want a clear answer from the Mudgal Commission report and in terms of the observations that they make, Mr. Rungta? One big question against Mr. N. Srinivasan which you would like a clear answer to.
I would certainly like an answer to the fact that if his son-in-law is involved in match betting, of which even Bombay Police, I believe, has given evidences, then the question of the allegation not falling on to him and he going scot-free, in my opinion, does not arise, and that requires definitely creates a big question mark in my mind, because after all, your own son-in-law sitting in the dugout, traveling with the team, is involved in match betting, and then you as the owner have to go scot-free, is, in my opinion, does not meet the right context.
Mr. Rungta, do stay on with us now to Mr. Kishore Bhimani. He's also been hearing to your views and he's also listened to the details that we've put out. These are details that we have accessed, as part of the contents of the Mudgal Committee report. Allegations and the comments against that which Megha Prasad has put out. Mr. Bhimani, especially against Mr. N. Srinivasan, we get the impression that he would get a virtual clean chit.
Anand, may I say one thing? You were asking Kishore Rungta about the main allegation. I really believe that the main allegation against Mr. Srinivasan was that he misled the public, he misled the media, he misled all of us by saying that Gurunath Mayappan has nothing to do with the ownership of the team. This was a lie. Gurunath Mayappan was in the dugout, he was at net practice, he was mixing with the players, he was in and out of every meeting that there was held about the Chennai Super Kings. So that was item number one, where he had deliberately misled all of us. Number two, that his son-in-law, not an outsider, his son-in-law was involved, and he did not have the decency, in spite of being the head of the Board of Control for Cricket in India, to step aside, to step down and say, now let somebody else take over. Instead, he was only involved with his chair, and he wanted that ICC, the plum prize of being the ICC president. So what did he do? He stepped aside under a cloud in India, and then became the boss of an international body, which also reflects very badly on the international body. Apart from what you have today released, Anand, what I'm hearing, well, obviously we get shocked when we hear these new things. We hope that Mudgal Commission, which I think is of excellent pedigree, will be able to clear this air. And that if there are clean chits given after these things are out of the way, about Dhoni, about Raina, about all the people.
Mr. Bhimani, Mr. Rungta, do stay on with us because we've got more. We've accessed more details. It's beyond Mr. N. Srinivasan. It is also about the India skipper, Chennai Super Kings skipper, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, the allegations made against him. Was he involved in fixing matches? Do the allegations against him hold any water as far as the Mudgal Committee is concerned? What are their observations? We'll play all of that out. There are more details coming up. We'll stay on with this story. There is a lot more that you hear on this exclusive news break. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying on with us now. And like we said, more details that we have accessed as part of the Mudgal Committee report. The questions around the India skipper and Chennai Super Kings skipper Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Was he involved in fixing? Was he part of the bookie net in terms of the fixing dragnet that had engulfed the IPL as per allegations made by certain media reports? Let's go across to Megha Prasad for more details on that. Megha, there were multiple allegations against Dhoni, especially around that one particular match against the Rajasthan Royals on the 12th of May 2013, isn't it?
Well, yes. Now, there are a couple of allegations against Mahendra Singh Dhoni. The details that we have with us at this point in time, Anand, do point towards at least two major allegations. The second one, I'm reading it out first because it's more important. It says that doubts have also been raised that Mahendra Singh Dhoni had fixed the matches post CSK qualifying for the knockouts. In particular, aspersions raised on his conduct in the CSK versus Rajasthan Royals match on 12th of May 2013. An analysis of the same, of course, is there as a part of this report. But what the Mudgal Committee really believes about this allegation is that the investigation, referring to the investigation that has been provided to them, the details that is there with them till now, it says that so far the investigation has not disclosed anything in support of the contention that the match was fixed, and it was alleged that Vikram Agarwal with Gurunath Mayappan decided to fix the match in pursuance to this conspiracy. Gurunath Mayappan is alleged to have influenced Dhoni. But as discussed earlier, we have not got any evidence that a meeting was held over dinner on 27th of April 2013. Now, where the allegation is that the decision to fix the match was allegedly taken. Now, this particular meeting in Hotel Sheraton in Chennai on 27th of April 2013 keeps cropping up all through the observations of the Mudgal Committee report and their final analysis or their conclusion at this point in time, because they've of course got 2 more months to investigate into all of these allegations further. But at this point in time, they believe that this particular meeting never happened. In fact, they have gone to the extent, when we do discuss Mayapan, we will, we'll get to know, Anand, that
Yes.
they have gone to the extent of trying to get a hold of the CCTV of that particular hotel, of that particular night. They haven't found anything because the CCTV was not preserved. It wasn't there at all to be gone into. But they have also gone into the bills paid by any of these players. They've also gone into the hotel room bills.
We will come to those details. Megha, we will come to those details also. Now, there are also parts of the media reports, isn't it? As far as when the first time talk about Dhoni being involved in fixing came to the fore was when a few newspapers and magazines and other media picked up stories of him being involved with bookies. Now, what is the merit that this committee has found? Are there any details that we have accessed on those grounds, their observations on those grounds?
Anand, can you please repeat the question?
No, in terms of the media reports that came to the fore, Megha, about Dhoni's involvement and his nexus with the bookies?
Well, yes, there are two things. Of course, this particular committee was looking also into there were allegations that Illustrated Weekly and Hindustan Times had done a particular sting on a particular sting that went on for almost 6 months, and it, as alleged, had the voice of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. That was the allegation, that Mahendra Singh Dhoni was in contact and was in touch with a lot of bookies. But the Mudgal Committee actually believes that there is nothing in terms of evidence to suggest that the voices that are there in that sting operation actually belong to Dhoni.
Right.
They are saying that most of the voices that they have analyzed are actually of the bookies, and of course they've gone on to say that we need the samples of the voice of the players that are suspected to be there caught on this particular sting operation,
right.
And that will happen only when the players come back from UK, and the voice samples will be taken and sent to the forensic lab. As of now, nothing to suggest that it is Dhoni's voice that he's talking to other people in the sting operation.
So is the captain also getting a clean sheet from the Mudgal Committee as far as their findings and observations? Virtual clean sheet to the BCCI president, perhaps another clean sheet in the offing for the Indians captain. So is there nobody involved in this muck? Was this all nothing but a storm in a teacup? These are questions which remain. We have more details that we have access to. We do request Kishore Bhimani and Mr. Rungta to please stay on with us. We're reaching the top of the hour. We're going to take a very short break. On the live report, we stay on with these details that we're bringing to our viewers. Do stay with us.